Our journey begins on June 24th, 2008, when Wipeout made its debut on ABC. The brainchild of producers Matt Kunitz and Scott Larson, the show aimed to create a modern-day obstacle course, combining elements of physical challenges, comedy, and reality competition. With its larger-than-life obstacles, contestants enduring outrageous wipeouts, and hilarious commentary, Wipeout quickly became a sensation. Today we explore the show's evolution throughout the years, how it introduced special themed episodes, and even international versions, solidifying its place as a global phenomenon. This is the history of America's favorite game show,
Wipeout.
Oh, that hurt.
Hello and welcome to a very special edition of Wipeout. I'm John Anderson here alongside my colleague John Henson.
Right from the first episode of Wipeout, the premise of the show is given right away to the audience. 24 competitors will battle it out for $50,000 by running the first round, the qualifier. The fastest 12 move on to the second round, the top 6 move on to the third round, and the top 4 move on to the final round, the Wipeout Zone. The pilot episode, which is called the Special Episode, had 32 competitors instead of the measly 24. The top 16 would move on, then to 8, then to 4. The show was filmed on Sable Ranch in Sand Canyon, California, just off of I-5. The hosts of the show are John Anderson, John Henson, and the interviewer, aka the one that is down on the field, Jill Wagner. The show did a nice job of introducing the contestants and their background, what they did for a job, why they are competing on the show, etc., etc. You would get 10 whack jobs, 10 everyday people, and then 4 slightly athletic people. In later seasons, team episodes had started to appear, with family episodes, blind date episodes, boss and employee episodes, newlywed episodes, exes episodes, and many, many more. And at the end of the episode, one person or one team will walk away with $50,000 and sometimes $100,000. The show had done well in its first season and struck audiences like gold. It had gone a second season in 2009, and that's when people had really started to get a grasp on the show. Wipeout was a very popular show, and still is to this day. Once the second season was over, Wipeout had gone nominated for the prestigious Rose d'Or Award, which I can't seem to find a good thing about anywhere online, but then again, they were only nominated. In 2008, the concept and style of the show had been compared to several Japanese game shows, most notably Takeshi's Castle and Sasuke. This was brought to the attention of the Japanese broadcaster, Tokyo Broadcasting System, TBS for short, who had filed a copyright infringement lawsuit against ABC, charging that Wipeout is a, quote, blatant copycat of several of its Japanese game shows, end quote. And among the charges are that ABC bought search terms, such as MXC, the Americanized comedy version of Takeshi's Castle, on Google to help drive traffic to the official Wipeout page, and that specific obstacles in Wipeout were knockoffs of challenges in those Japanese game shows. After several years, the case was set to hit trial, but it never made it that far. According to The Hollywood Reporter, quote, documents filed in federal court this week reveal that ABC and production company Endemol have settled a lawsuit filed in 2008 by TBS that alleged Wipeout was a ripoff of several shows, including Most Extreme Elimination Challenge, Takeshi's Castle, and Ninja Warrior. Wipeout creator and executive producer Matt Kunitz, who also executive produced Endemol's Fear Factor on NBC, said, quote, Wipeout is 90% Fear Factor inspired, 10% Japanese game show, end quote, stating in a Los Angeles Times interview that, quote, Wipeout was born from a desire to do a funny stunt series. He reportedly had wanted to sell the show as Fear Factor meets America's Funniest Home Videos, end quote. The lawsuit was settled in December of 2011 through mediation with a federal judge without going to trial. As previously stated before, in 2009, Wipeout had been nominated for a Rose d'Or Award, which is also the first award that Wipeout was nominated for. In 2010, Wipeout was nominated for 2 awards, Entertainment Weekly's Guilty Pleasure Reality Showdown, and they won that nomination and the Kids' Choice Award for Favorite Reality Show, which it sadly did not win. In 2011, Wipeout was nominated for a Kids and Teens Choice Award for Favorite Reality Show and Choice TV Reality Competition Show. They also, unfortunately, did not win those awards. In 2012, 2013, and 2014, Wipeout was nominated for a Kids' Choice Award yet again, and they actually won all 3 awards in those 3 years. They were all for Favorite Reality Show. In 2014, they were also nominated for a Teen's Choice Award for Choice Summer TV Show. They also won that award. Finally, in 2015, a year after Wipeout was off the air, they were nominated for a Kids' Choice Award for Favorite Reality Show. They did not end up winning that award. After the 3rd season, Wipeout was fairly popular in the United States and around the world. The format was sold to 40 countries, including Australia, New Zealand, Canada, Mexico, and the United Kingdom. There was speculation about where the show was going to be filmed, if it was going to be on the same set that Wipeout had used or if it was going to be somewhere else. It was. All of Wipeout's international versions of the show were filmed and produced in Buenos Aires, Argentina. After 3 successful seasons, Wipeout was renewed for a 4th season which debuted on January 6, 2011, introducing a new concept of the show, Winter Wipeout. 8 episodes were produced and another concept of the show appeared, Spring Wipeout. They had filmed and produced only 6 episodes. After the show's 4th, it was renewed for a 5th season which debuted on December 8, 2011 with its Winter Wipeout adaptation once more, but was a Christmas special. Jill was also absent from this season of the show as she was on a LOA, and disappeared from the show, but Vanessa Lachey, who is mostly popular for her role in the action fiction series show NCIS, stepped in as host in 2012. The show had done pretty well ratings-wise and television-wise. Wipeout was still a very popular game show at the time, and was watched a lot. It seemed like ABC and Wipeout were going the way it should have been. Or at least they had assumed. After the 5th season of Wipeout, a 6th season of the show was made, debuting on May 9, 2013. Co-host Jill Wagner would return to the show after Vanessa left the show due to her pregnancy. Season 6 did okay in terms of ratings-wise and television-wise, but people weren't just tuning in as much as they used to, and that the show was getting, quote, boring or hard to watch, end quote. It was a great season overall and did well for a 7th season of the show. Many people weren't just getting that same feeling. The 7th and sadly the last season of the show debuted on June 22, 2014, 2 days before its 7-year anniversary. The show didn't do as well as ABC would have most likely wanted it to, but people were hoping and excited for an 8th season of the show. The show's 7th season had some really good commentary bits, and overall the obstacles were sort of good. The season was probably what people weren't really expecting, but it did come out well in the end. This would also be the season that added a new concept to the show.
It's the Wipeout Tournament of Champions.
Basically how this worked is winners from each episode from Season 7 were brought together for a Tournament of Champions at the end of the season to compete for the title of Ultimate Wipeout Champion. The season went well, and Wipeout closed its doors on September 7th, 2014, with the hopes of coming back under a new name, Wipeout Extreme. After the show's cancellation somewhere around the summer of 2015, ABC had, quote, quietly canceled the show altogether, end quote, and removed every trace of it off of their website. It was never made clear as to why it was removed, but fans of the show say it was out of spite and it was clearly to, quote, forget the show's existence, end quote. According to a fandom wiki website, Wipeout Extreme was a, quote, different format than its predecessor, end quote. Each episode had 20 contestants competing in 4 rounds: the qualifier, the sweeper, the gauntlet, and the extreme wipeout zone. Each episode featured more intense revisions of obstacles, dubbing them as, quote, extreme versions, end quote. Some of the supposed obstacles were the Super Sucker Punch, the Extreme Sweeper, and the Extreme Wipeout Zone. The show had supposedly premiered on ABC on August 10th, 2016, but no official statements were made by Kunitz or Larson, along with representatives at ABC about if this was real or not. It most likely wasn't. In the summer of 2020, TBS had announced that Wipeout would be making its big return to TV, and on December 18th, 2020, the official Wipeout Twitter account posted this.
John Cena and Nicole Byer host all new episodes of Wipeout, coming soon to TBS.
Wipeout would be making its big return in 2021. The new hosts, yes, you heard me right, new hosts were John Cena and Nicole Byer, along with Camille Kostek as the sideline interviewer and co-host. Wipeout fans were furious that the Johns, along with Jill, did not return to the show. Fans made petitions, tweeted at the official TBS and Wipeout account to bring them back, and tweeting at John Henson and Jill Wagner to come back to the show. John Anderson did an interview with Stadium Scene TV on September 16, 2020, just a few days after TBS had announced Wipeout would be back on TBS. Anderson said,
there is no shot, from what I understand. The guy, Matt Kunis, the guy who hired me and runs the show, called one day. He said, John, I need you to call. Are you around? And I thought, oh, sure, great. Yeah. I thought it was something totally unrelated, right? I had no idea. Maybe his wife, who runs a wonderful diaper drive in Los Angeles, anything. And he goes, this might show you that it looks like they're going to redo the show. And don't feel bad. None of the original cast is coming. They don't want to do this. He goes, they even tried to get rid of me. But they don't realize it's my show and I'm attached to so if they're going to do the show, they get me, whatever part of it was. And that's fine. I am not offended in the least. I have a great job that I work still 5 days a week through all of this, which has been lucky. I got one son that I just sent off to college. I've got a daughter as a junior. I don't need to fly to LA. I don't need to do that. It was wonderful. People always go, you gonna do something else? I'm like, no, that was such a one-off lucky thing in a lifetime. Like, I had no desire to go host The Price is Right or, any of these other things like that. I talked to Joe Tess, who does Holy Moly now, right? Like, Joe, you swiped our show. But good for them, he and Rob Riggle. I don't need to jump back into it. It was great. And it's like anything else, right? I'm not sure. Do you want to risk go back? And what if it goes, wow, this is old, it's trite, it's not the same. I don't want to be on the back end of that. So I'm totally fine. And I hope it goes well because, like I said, because Matt is still associated with that, then I hope there's great success there for him because he deserves it. And what he did for me and was able to do is I sent my son to college and I got to, he won't have any student loans because I was on Wipeout and we paid for college. So, bully on them if they do well. Yeah. Now I got a lot of friends and the same crew that work on Cannonball, and I hate those people.
John Henson also said in an interview somewhere that he, quote, did not want to simply come back to the show, even if he was invited to, end quote. Henson also stated that, quote, the original show did great, not because of us, but the contestants. They were the real stars of the show, end quote. Although Henson did make a special appearance on the show, April 1st, 2021, Season 1 or Season 8, as it is referred in the Wipeout fandom, was broadcast. Season 2, or Season 9 as it is referred in the Wipeout fandom, was broadcasted on November 7th, 2023, with John Henson making a special guest appearance on Wipeout for a stunt which involved Nicole saying,
"Welcome back to Wipeout. We've got 2 gauntlet heats locked in and ready to go."
Fun fact, both heats happen at exactly the same time in the exact same spot on the exact same course, only in alternate universes.
That's an unproven theory, Nicole.
John Henson?
Hold for applause, and nod. Sure, string theory and quantum physics imply some form of multiverse, but the concept is unfalsifiable and therefore outside the boundaries of experimentation. Besides, the reality of simultaneous wipeout dimensions would challenge our entire understanding of empirical science, not to mention be very jarring for the home audience.
Wait, I'm confused.
Confused about what?
Never mind.
On November 14th, 2023, Season 2, Episode 2 aired, and a contestant on the show who was dressed up in a furry cosplay had reached out to me about this docu-series. Her name is Krista Maxine. Could be Maxine, not sure. And they are one of the 2 furries on Episode 2's show.
We're not even at your house.
Oh man, now we have to play baby games?
This isn't a game, John. This is Alice and Krister. They're furries.
Whoa! What is going on here?
Great Mr. Belding impression.
Hello there.
Oh, hello! Can we talk about the costumes?
Yeah, we're part of the furry fandom. Everybody has their own character.
I have never been to a furry convention. What should I expect?
They can get pretty crazy, especially the party floor.
Why do I feel like the dry cleaning bill is like extremely insane?
Nah, I have a spot bot at home for that.
At least they're frugal furries.
Furries for life! Alice the Owl hits the big balls like she does a party floor at the furry convention. But first.
It's never good when a furry gets wet. It takes so long to dry.
And there's nothing worse than the smell of a wet dog as Kristen takes on the Insta-Slam.
Furry power!
I don't think we're getting her off that thing.
Watch this. Squirrel! Works every time.
Oh, everything's messing us up, huh? All right.
Alice gets down on all fours, which, as a furry, should be something she's used to.
Maybe like a bronco there.
Come on, Alice. Use that owl-like wisdom, girl.
You're doing great!
Got this, show us there.
Ooh!
Yep, we've lost a shoe.
Ooh, animals shouldn't wear shoes anyway. It goes against nature.
Oh, the shoe is in the mouth, which is very on brand.
As Alice doggy paddles to the finish platform, their clock is approaching the 9-minute mark.
That's 63 minutes in dog years. Good luck making the gauntlet with that.
They had asked to do an interview, which we will get into later on. Even though the show was an international success, doesn't mean that it was aired all over the globe, nor made it to air at all. Wipeout was, quote, banned in some countries, including China, Japan, Taiwan, North and South Korea, Asia, but was lifted after the lawsuit was settled, and many more. Most of the countries that I listed had the show banned was because Wipeout already had its own format in these countries, as a Chinese ripoff, hence to as why Wipeout had never aired. Ever since TBS had announced that Wipeout was making a return, a lot of contestants that were on the original show have come out about their experience on the original version of the show, giving them behind the scenes looks and what we as a viewer do not see, but what the contestant sees and hears from the crew. Wipeout was always in a controversy as it was a game show that was meant for people to get hurt, but never seriously injured. But sometimes that did happen, and both shows have had deaths on their productions. Ever since 2013, Wipeout had its own fandom of fans, either by people who knew the show in small communities. Most notably would be Keshi Heads, which is a Takeshi's Castle fan site, but had a forum section to its website. Wipeout is one of its many topics. Another good chunk of the community would be from the quote Wipeout Roblox community, end quote, which is a large community that is on Roblox, which is an online game platform and game creation system that allows users to program games and play them created by other users. Wipeout was one of the many games that were created on the platform, and it started by the name of XR Man. He and his friend created many Wipeout games starting from 2014 all the way to 2019, early 2020. Since then, Wipeout has had a big impact on the website, with people making their own creations of the game and having roleplay or, quote, free roams as they call it, where you can explore and take part in the actual course itself. This community isn't all sunshine and rainbows, however, as this community has many downfalls, and most aren't even the games. It's the people who create and play them. There is about as many Wipeout games on Roblox as there would be obbies or tycoons, and Wipeout is no exception. With Roblox's amazing building tools, you can create just about anything on the platform, and there is plenty of Wipeout games and quote hostings that happen. Stuff like Dino's Wipeout, Colin's Blocks Out, along with Limeout, which is Wipeout, and Shady's Wipeout on SGC. There's plenty of games to go around, but most of the people I've mentioned have been in some sort of controversy, most notably Frosted Gameshows and Actually Wipeout, which is a rebrand of Actually Vortex's Late Nights Network, LNN for short. These two Discord servers have been in major controversies, including if you were around during the time, you would know.
Didn't succeed in their efforts to get to the second round. What the f***?
Wipeout was always the one game show that everyone knew, but maybe just didn't remember at the time. If you had showed someone a picture of the big balls, the person would mostly know that it is from Wipeout, which is still a very popular game show. Clips and videos are all over YouTube, and it's not like Wipeout had ever died, but more of just had taken a very lengthy break. That's it for me. Thank you for tuning in, and until next time, America.
Good night and big ball.